Welcome back to watching Business Morning on Channels Television. We discuss energy transition now. Of course, we know it's not a new one in the country. We talked about the gas resources available in Nigeria. I wonder if you missed that October 1st special program. And we had the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Jet Motor Company, Mr. Derek Ewelukwa, and he was very passionate about the resources. I don't know what has happened between then and now, between October and now, if we had more adoption or adaptation to the alternative on green energy. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Derek, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Ini. Thank you for having me once again on your show. Great.
So I know that during that conversation that we had on October 1, there was the issue of adaptation, acceptability of even this transition to energy transition for Nigerians. What have you noticed between then and now? As the situation improves, I would become more adaptive towards this clean energy.
Yes, thank you once again. The last time I was on your show, we were discussing energy security when it comes to the automobile industry. I mean, the auto industry, we assemble and manufacture automobiles. So energy is a very big process for us in order to get the equipments and in order to get the automobiles moving after they are built. We got hung up on the acceptability of the CNG as a means of powering the automotive sector. The last time, I believe it was in October of 2024, the last time I was on this show. And I've seen some change in that direction. The acceptance of that energy source is beginning to take shape. I think now what we're battling with is the issue of accessibility. As long as we get the affordability buttoned down, we get the acceptability, and we get the availability, now the accessibility is what we have to tackle. I say that because I see the demand has tremendously increased with respect to people trying to get their vehicles converted to run on CNG. And even you go to the CNG stations, you find lineups. So that tells me that people are beginning to key into this source of energy, or this alternative source of energy to power their vehicles. It is cleaner, it is cheaper, and it's affordable. So I think we now have to try to solve the accessibility issue. There are lots of private sectors going into that space now. Government is also boosting that sector, and as I know, in the near future, the accessibility issue will also be solved. The last time I was here, it was the acceptability. Everybody was kind of gauging, would they really want to use this energy source to power their vehicle? But I think we've gone over that. People are beginning to find out that CNG is okay. It's good to drive your vehicles on CNG. Now we have to solve the accessibility issue.
But now there's also the talk of capacity to meet up with the demand. And I mean, anybody who knows Nigerians knows that once you cross the bridge of acceptability and the demand starts coming in, I mean, how many stations do we have for refill for these CNG vehicles? What infrastructure do we have in place, even though we've heard a lot of announcement from the government, you know, on infrastructure to maintain the CNG vehicles?
The infrastructure is directly proportional to the accessibility of these fuels, of this CNG. So that's the point I'm trying to get at. we have to make these infrastructure readily available so that these fuels could be accessible to the masses. I'm beginning to see new CNG refilling stations pop up across town. Across from my office or workshop down in Lagos, one sprang up in a matter of few months. And across town as well, these are beginning to spring up. Private entities are beginning to invest their own money into this infrastructure. And this is going to be complemented by the efforts of the current administration. And I know in no time, we won't be having this conversation about accessibility. At every nook and cranny that you cover across the country, there is a petrol station, there's a diesel station. You know, I know it's going to be like that. Nigeria has an abundance of gas. You know, this government is visionary, if you ask me, to be able to have the idea to spur up this gas utilization. So I speak to friends. I know they are trying to invest their own money into this infrastructure. And with the efforts of the government, I know this infrastructure, the gap will be bridged in no time.
All right. And then in all of this, of course, we want to put more demand on the Naira to give it more value and patronize or create more employment. You know, so it has to be local. I mean, how much of these factors are domestic and how much of it, talking about electric vehicles and the whole use of transition and all of that, how much of it do we have to import and how much is locally produced?
Ini, I'm sorry if you was, I know you were speaking, but I couldn't catch what the question was.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, Derek, I was asking about how much local content do we have, even in our efforts in transitioning to clean energy, CNG, and the infrastructure around it?
Sorry, I got the last half of that question. I think we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, it does seem that way, unfortunately. Yeah. Unfortunately, it does seem Derek can barely hear me right there. I wanted to find out, since he's into is in the domestic electric vehicle area or industry in Nigeria, how much of it do they have to import, or how much of it really is made in Nigeria, or are we just the coupling is what's received when we talk about infrastructure to maintain or sustain the energy transition? I wonder if we could have Derek answer that final question. It would really be nice. Do we have Derek? Is Derek there? Okay, well, I guess the world is talking about electric vehicle at this time, and Nigeria joins it. But I mean, as I always say, it's not just about joining what the world is doing, but how prepared are we? What do we have on ground to be able to accommodate this? Okay, so now let's see if we can have Derek back to tell us the domestic components in all of these, our energy transition and CNG. Derek, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes,
Great.
I can hear you.
Awesome. So I was just curious as to the local components in all of these talks of CNG, electric vehicles, and energy transition. How much local components do we have in there? All right, Derek, can you hear me?
You know.
All right.
All right. You're right.
Looks
you
like we
asking
will
about
have
the local components.
Exactly.
In respect to their energy transition.
Exactly, correct.
Well, in what we do, we try to incorporate as much as local components. I'm a big advocate of sustainable energy and sustainable development. In what we do, our flagship product is a full battery electric vehicle with about 68 kilowatt of lithium battery that can travel about 300 kilometers on a full charge. Now, the reason I went back to explain this is it's not only about the ability to do this. The inherent lithium in Nigeria will become a very key player in these sustainable transportation options. I want to go back and take a look at other countries that are doing it. Ethiopia, for example, has mastered electric vehicle transportation. Ethiopia has none of those minerals, if you ask me. But here in Nigeria, our local components will go a long way in shaping up this energy transition. One of the biggest problems we're going to have down the road is the infrastructure. Everything boils down to the infrastructure to drive this energy transition. So we're trying to churn out these electric vehicles, but the key questions that people keep asking is, how do we charge them? Where are we going to find the energy to charge them? How do we get from point A to point B running on electric vehicle? So we need to do a major investment in the infrastructure to get these vehicles moving by the time they hit the road. People are excited about the CNG vehicles and the kind of savings it can give them now. They are going to be super excited when the EVs hit the road. I know many people might think it's wishful thinking, but we have all the resources, we have all the capacity, we have the capabilities to achieve that here in Nigeria. We have the local talent, we have the local components, we have all we need. All we just have to put together is the policies and the will to get this done.
All right, I do hope, I believe we kind of have the policies, but the will, I guess, is something we should be looking for. But thank you so much, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Jet Motor Company, Mr. Derek Ewelukwa, for your time and your views this morning.
Thank you once again, Ini. Thank you for having me.
All right, glad we're able to get that final question in. But that's it on the program this morning. Thank you so much for being a part of Business Morning. At 1 p.m., Ladi and Anita will be back to give you intraday numbers and other business and economy stories at Doing Business Incorporated. I'm Ini John Mekwa, wishing you a beautiful day ahead.